Welcome to Invino Veritas, where we are under the influence and over the bullshit. How are you? Because I'm not
I'm
well, bitch.
I'm exhausted. I'm so tired.
I'm exhausted too. No, and I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm walking around feeling like I'm in a fog. Like, I feel like I'm like, it's not even like hungover. Like even driving to work today, I was like, should I be behind the wheel of a car? Like, this is insane. Like, I'm just like going, but like, who? Like, who's driving this car? Like,
Just
not me.
aimlessly
I got
existing.
there, don't remember. Like, let's be real. Like, god damn. No, it's weird. And then I started thinking about it because literally, so I had Friday off from work. Then it was like the 4th of July, like weekend, right? And then, sorry, I love how I was like, how are you? None of my business. I'm going to tell you about me.
Okay, stop. It's my turn to talk. I was off on Friday.
That's how unwell I am, honestly. Like no, it's like then it was the holiday weekend and that was like fine. And then literally Monday, I barely woke up on time, took my daughter to do what she needs to do, like get to work. And everyone I talked to at work and in the world was like, what day is it? What's going on? I'm like, even if all of us drank a lot on the 4th of July, there was a whole day in between. Like, what is going on? Like, we should be fine. But energetically, there is
We
something
should be okay.
amiss in this universe right now. And I don't understand it.
So, okay, something that just started. Officially, they say it began today, but I've been seeing that it began about a day or so ago. Is Neptune turning retrograde, and Neptune
That
is
bitch.
I know how fucking Neptune is the planet of dreams and illusion, like literally your wildest dreams, but also it is the planet that can sometimes have a very heavy fog. So I'm wondering if it stationing a different direction just made everybody kind of like, whoa, what is reality? Am I
No,
in
I'm
real
not
life?
even kidding. Exactly. I'm literally at work. People that like have no business, like they're not ones that to be like, oh, I'm a mess. Like, what's going on? Like, they're walking around like zombies at work. Like, I'm like, what are you like? Everyone is exhausted. People who are the most gung ho sorts of people I work with are canceling calls left and right, asking clients to postpone thing. Like they're like, I'm not ready to do any of this. Like it's wild behavior. Like I don't know what's going on out there. Like, and then I had read, or maybe you told me honestly, but like that Sagittarius, this Mercury retrograde that's also happening is like July is a shit show for Sagittarius. So like and Libra. So
I've
maybe
been having a grand old time. My Libra rising moon self. I love it.
oh, good.
My
Good for
my
you.
Neptune, so Neptune is in my seventh house of relationships. So I'm the fog lifting for that for me.
Okay.
So I have like taken off my rose colored glasses.
All right. Well, super happy for you.
You're like, I don't even know what direction I'm going. I need
I was like, I
glasses.
don't even know how to keep my eyes open right now, and
Oh,
it's 7 p.m. Is it? It's not even. It's 6 p.m. God, it's
exactly.
5:19. It's not even 5 p.m. God damn. And I'm like,
It's
when
a
can I go to
mess.
bed?
Oh gosh. And on top of that, Mercury retrograde, we are in the thick of it. So that's not ideal.
No, yeah,
Us trying to get on to this stream.
it took us 35 minutes to figure out how to do anything, and then by the end of that, you were like, should we not even do it? Should we not film? Should we not record? I was like,
I was defeated. I was like, this has
yeah,
been too much.
it's too much. It really is too much, though.
Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god.
Speaking of too much, is there such thing as too much? Too much winning? Too much too much
Depends
losing?
on. I don't know. Is it Charlie Sheen winning or is it like what are we talking about?
Winning! Tiger's blood. I love that I said winning and you said Charlie Sheen.
Or like,
Oh,
is there such a
millennials.
thing as two? I know, I know. People were like,
I love
who?
us.
And like, oh god. They're like, he's an HIV icon. Where were you going with the winning though? Because instead I derailed it and became a
Right. I was
millennial. Like,
going Well, winners and losers and the World Cup.
Oh, I know. You know what's insane though is that I don't like men's soccer. Women's soccer, if it was women's, I'd be all over I'd be watching every game. I'd be doing all these things. Men, so boring. I don't like it. Anyway, the point being, I haven't watched the game. I know what's going on in the world. I know like the US really like had a troubled time, obviously, the other day, but like
yesterday, last night, I had the opportunity to, I'm over here like I did have the opportunity. I've been watching some of the World Cup, and I obviously had to watch yesterday, and we needed to lose. I thought it was only the right thing to have happen after our 250th birthday.
I know, right?
But
also, what a weird country to lose to.
Belgium, right?
If there's a country that has a more diabolical history related to slavery and the treatment of Black people, it's Belgium. So the fact that they won it is wild, but okay. Did you see the clip, though, of the Belgian team in the locker room dancing like Donald Trump to the YMCA song? Like, iconic behavior. These men just crushed. Let's be real. There's not been a lot of crushed sort of games in this whole World Cup from what I can tell. Like 1-4 is
the funniest part about that is they scored that fourth point in overtime. So they were already going to win. And literally seconds left.
Crush the United States into the ground because like no, we don't give anyone, I mean, again, I'm getting heated. Like, yeah, you should kick our butts. We
needed an ass kicking.
Yeah, when has the US ever shown mercy to anyone about anything?
Okay, right? Mercy. Ooh, that's such an interesting word to use. I've been reading a lot of religious stuff, and so themes of mercy and virtue have been coming up in my readings. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Mercy.
Unrelated, but I just saw a person say, my favorite parts in the Bible are when Jesus is talking to God on his own and no one else is around and someone is writing about it. I was like, actually, that's so amazing.
That's incredible.
And people are like, wait a minute. Is this not real?
Did somebody make this? Did somebody make this part up? Did this not happen?
Wait, did you have more Belgian stuff? Because I have a pivot.
I didn't have any more on Belgium or our glorious loss. It was a birthday loss. It was honestly the most iconic way. It was necessary, the fall of an empire, but also I think we're in the middle of like an evolution of sorts. So I think we needed to be.
It's so funny you say that because yes, we needed to be knocked down a peg by a country that hasn't really done a lot in the last 100 years. But I kind of love that it was like, that's who it wasn't like, oh, we're, US and Mexico. Like, there's not like a lot of like history. It was just like, it's just Belgium. They were like, we really love chocolate and we hate you. So done. But,
right.
But the thing you said about like this evolution in time period is so interesting because obviously we're going through our own, you're seeing it left and right? Like you're seeing the thing, people, even MAGAs are starting to wake up. Marjorie Taylor Greene is on like aliens have taken her body and done something different with her at this point. And we'll get to that. But like, I'm also loving that at the same exact time, what you're seeing, and you're seeing a lot of interviews. I'm seeing a lot of TikTok videos. I'm seeing a lot of stuff of like people from other countries who were like, oh, I was really scared about coming to America. Not scared in like the true sense, but like, oh, I thought it was going to be a lot of rude people or this or that. And like, people, I mean, I just saw a guy earlier today. He's like this German guy, and he's like, when RB lost, he's like, I'm going home, and he was like getting emotional. He's like, I really have come to like love America over the last week or so. And I'm like, it's interesting to see that. I saw this interesting take on it, which was we forget that this whole like narrative of, oh, America is all these bad things. It's all these obese people. The portions are this, like they don't have, and we don't, I mean, all of that is very valid, but that propaganda is like what other countries are told about us versus when they actually come, the number of people that were like, oh, it's actually like stunningly beautiful in so many different places. Or, you know, like the stadiums are so much bigger than they are in Europe. Like these are like, there's different things that they're impressed by. Or like, even like we talked about it a few weeks ago of like these teams that are being, you know, staying in like these small cities in, you know, Kansas or Alabama or whatever, and like the communities are coming out and supporting them and showing up in ways, and people are like, oh, I didn't expect this, because the narrative outside of the US is that they are self-centered and rude and, you know, their own sort of thing. And it's this weird like mixture of like, oh, people are recognizing the good, and I think we also should, as we're also deconstructing and saying like there's so many problems here, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a weird
I
time for all of that.
I think right now what we're really seeing, kind of circling back a little bit to what we were saying about Neptune going retrograde and like literally the fog being lifted, like leading into the World Cup, that Neptune retrograde was beginning to slow down before that station that happened today. And so on one end, you know, we have granted pretty accurate stereotypes of our country, but on the other hand, we're seeing very accurate representations of other aspects of it. And I think that we're in the middle of starting to see a fuller picture without it being completely propagandized.
Well,
and
that's
it's
totally
from firsthand accounts.
right. And I do think that this is where things like social media do a good job of allowing us to hear these stories of like, and see our country the way that there are elements of this country that are exactly the way we were taught for it to be. It is a great place. Like there's a lot of beauty here. There's a lot of good stuff there, and at the root of different things. There's also a lot of mess and a lot of darkness that people for 250 years have not been honest and upfront about. And like we're confronting all of that now. But like I have found it very refreshing to be like someone who's really gone through over the last couple of years, like struggling with like the soul of this country, and then seeing people appreciate the things that you're like, no, you're right. Like that is a good thing. Like I should recognize that some of the beauty and the good things in some of that. I shouldn't just be head down like we've got to fix every problem. Like, I mean, yeah, we should, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's like,
Yeah.
it's given me at least a little bit of like, I'm happy to see so many of these people not from here enjoy the country. It's giving me a little bit of like, there is stuff here worth fighting for and saving, and like, you know what I mean? Like it's that sort of feeling.
It's like a reminder that, oh wait, you know what? It's like seeing things that we've already known through fresh eyes.
Right. It's having other people like, especially like you and I like have talked about like being propagandized and being sort of brainwashed as you grow up in this country, like to believe that no, we're the best. We've never done anything bad. We only do things for the greater good of the world. Like, and then you start realizing, bitch, we've never done a nice thing to anyone. But it's
all of the things nice that we've done. We've also done horrendous things that we do not actually speak of because of how vile they are.
Right. The branding around America, like America's had great PR for 250 years. The press for America is out there being like, no, you guys, slavery, like they wanted it. You guys stop. Like they loved it. Like they were so happy about it, actually. And like it's like there's all this nonsense around it. Like
right. And it kind of takes me back to what we were saying about, again, how our school systems teach these things. And that going back to it being similar to how things are taught in the church, like we're taught in a way that's not actively seeking out those firsthand accounts. I've read like letters and interviews from former slaves, and there is actually a really...
Well, weren't you just talking about your rabbit hole of Frederick Douglass and like all of that?
I was. And you know what's so funny is Frederick Douglass only touched on this very briefly because it was the 5th of July. He's talking about, you know, the nation's holiday. So he couldn't talk too much shit. But he did talk his shit about the founding fathers and their role in what ended up becoming the thing that propped America up, which was profiting on the backs and with the blood of
people. It's literally, but it was always that. It's the same as it is now when you think about it. It was, like it was slaves, it was the indigenous people that lived here, it was it was just, and then saying, no, 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 because we're Christian. I mean, honestly, like this country, it's so interesting that you just said that because it sparked, I just watched this sermon by a pastor who was like, if any of you think that this country should be a Christian nation or that it ever was, he's like, let me educate you. He's like, a Christian nation would not upend the lives of 20 million indigenous Americans who are still not being treated the way that they should or getting what they should from this country and this government. They would not be enslaving people and using the Lord's name as a way to justify that. Like, he was like, this is not a Christian nation. And he's like, the people can be Christian, people can go out and be that way, but he's like, this should not be, we should not be pretending to be something that we're not. Because, and I'm not religious, but his point was, when we're pretending and we're labeling things as Christian and this is like whatever, and we're not doing actual Christian things, like it kind of like defaces the whole idea of Christianity in the first place. Or it spits in Jesus's face of like, what, you know what I mean? Like, it's that whole concept of like, you're using, like when people said, I remember growing up, I grew up Catholic, and people were like, you can't say, oh my God, because you're using God's name in vain. And it's like, the idea of not using God's name in vain is not about that. It's not like, oh, someone said God and like, that's crazy. No, it's about saying that I'm someone who God likes, I'm a Christian, I'm this, I'm doing, but I go out and I treat people like shit. That's what you're doing. You're saying, you're labeling yourself and using it as a way to like erase bad behavior, essentially.
Yeah.
Like,
both Thomas Paine and Frederick Douglass had some really poignant takes on that. The first was Frederick Douglass, and he talked about how often those who use, and this is specific, I think, to the founding fathers, but I think that he was also alluding to it with regards to Christianity, but basically saying that, you know, men who use the accomplishments of their fathers before them often do it to cover their own misdeeds.
Right. Well, and you see it all the time, right? You see it where people defend, you know, like bad behavior by saying, well, but they did this, well, they did that, or they came from this, or like they're not a bad person, their dad or their mom was this X, Y, and Z. It's like, they can still be a bad person.
Yeah, like we absolve people of responsibility far too easily. People talk about like infantilization. We do that so often to too many people, for so many folks. But circling back quickly to wrap that thought up regarding Thomas Paine's thoughts on using religion to justify horrible things, he said, "The most shocking of all this is sacred scriptures to favor this wicked practice."
I would guess he had a lot to say about slavery. I don't know if that's the context of it, but like
that was what the context of it was.
Yeah, so it is that idea that, and it's kind of what we were talking about before, is that slavery was justified by a lot of people by saying that, well, they need to be saved. We're actually doing them a service.
You know what?
The Lord wants this.
You know what he specifically called out was how the Jews had slaves, and at the time in the 1770s, that was the justification. And he laid out 3 reasons, pretty well thought out reasons, why that cannot be the case.
Well, and again, that's a group of people. So think about that. What we just talked about, this lack of, oh, I don't need to take accountability because of the things that happened before. Jews were enslaved people, but there is this idea that, and again, I'm going to say it, people are going to get mad, but what you see right now and what Israel is doing with Gaza and the genocide that is occurring, there is this pro-Israel sort of support that comes from, no, they could never do that because they went through that as well. They're not doing it for that reason because, hello, they could never. Hitler was trying, it's like, no, but you're doing the exact same thing actually on a much grander scale, and it's blatantly in front of us. The thing I give people credit for, at least at the time of World War II and like Hitler's stuff, information was not spread that quickly. A lot of people, especially in America, did not understand the actual scale of what was going on to Jewish people in Germany and other European countries. Like, until the war was over. They didn't fully understand, oh, this many people were murdered. Like, we're watching it play out. We're seeing videos of it every day. And everyone's like, well, no, they couldn't possibly be doing it because they went through that. It's this weird. And again, it goes back to the whole like Egyptians
like
owning Jewish slave. Like, you go back and it's like there's this weird sort of
cognitive dissonance.
like, yes, of like, when are we held accountable, and where do we stop saying, well, like, I was put through something, so I'm allowed to be this way, or I'm allowed to react this way.
Yeah.
Just because you're a bitch, like, someone's a bitch to you, doesn't mean you have to react as a bitch. Like, you can just be like, wow, your behavior is incorrect. I'm moving forward being the person I want to be.
Yeah, I'm removing myself from this, and I'm going to.
It's like, oh,
no
what?
longer.
So Jewish people like have been persecuted over the years.
I think
they get to what? They get to go out and murder other people. I'm confused.
I think,
like, where does the logic fall?
Well, there isn't sound logic. It's not a logical thing. It's an emotional thing. And you know, that's actually something that I think that our society as a whole has stunted, is our emotional capacity. And, you know, rather than working through hard emotions, looking deep, because those things can be painful and they can be confusing. And a lot of people collectively just opt out of that work. And I think it turns into situations like we're seeing in Israel right now, where, like you mentioned, the cognitive dissonance is so great, but it's still, the acts still persist.
The perfect example of that is that you've seen it in our own country with like MAGA and Christianity and all of these things of like, there are a lot of Christian people that I truly believe are really good people. I'm not anti people who believe in that stuff, like in Christianity. But when you pressure people, or you start to say, hey, these people are bad because they're using this text to dictate the rules of law and like oppress other people and do these things, sometimes those people lean into lean into the religion, instead of saying, I can be this and I can also say that that's wrong. Like they instead are like, no, you're saying Jesus might be, the Bible said something bad. Like, I can't hear you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just like literally
defensiveness.
Exactly. They don't like being labeled. It's the same. I see it all the time with people when I talk about, I've seen it with family of, you know, straight people and gay people and like the treatment and like the things that I've literally talked to people that know me and care about me and said, you know, the treatment of gay people over the last 50, like literally just a basic conversation, and people being like, well, you know, it's a different time. It's like, why are you getting defensive though? Like, I don't understand that. You can own that, yes, gay people and queer people in general have been mistreated for centuries now at this point. Does not mean that I'm saying you're a bad person because what, you align with Christianity or like whatever. I'm not saying you've gone out and done this. I'm like, but people get weirdly defensive about stuff. They don't want to align with or acknowledge that maybe in some weird way they have maybe done something wrong.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part why I think they get so defensive, is because there probably is a decent chance that if they looked back, probably did, and maybe it's the guilt and guilt caused the defensiveness. Or
right?
Yeah, it's highly likely.
That's the thing, is that but you can all. But see, like the way that I mean, we're getting way off topic at this point, but like the way I look at it is like, I've not always acted appropriately or in the way, like I feel guilt and regret, and like there's things I would do differently, and like I've not always been I'm not saying I'm like a perfect person, but the fact that I can even acknowledge that and look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, you did X, Y, and Z wrong, let's do better. That's all anyone really wants from people. And like, that's where like this whole conversation, to circle back to the genocide in Gaza, of like, no one is saying Jewish people are inherently bad people or Israelis are inherently bad people. But what is going on is
it's inherently bad,
fundamentally wrong. So like, what do we do then? Right? Like, it's not, and the thing that's pissed me off the most about all of this is that when the minute you say, hey, Israel needs to cool it, people are like, wow, you're anti-Semitic. What the fuck? What is that? What
are we doing?
I'm not allowed to be critical of someone who's murdering children in the streets, targeting. I mean, did you see the thing that the thing that came out this week of like there was memos that were leaked that the IDF was telling their soldiers to target the limbs of children.
I did see that.
To slow their families down and all of these things. And I'm like, that is absolute horror. That is disgusting behavior. And if we're not going to call it out, it has nothing. I don't give a fuck what your religion is or what you believe or anything. If you don't believe that that's wrong, I have a problem with you. Like, that is just like what it is, right? Like, you can be like, no, I go to church every Sunday. I don't give a fuck about that, because if you don't denounce all of that behavior, that's insane.
Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of takes us back to the conversations we've been having over the last week. Like the stuff with Thomas Paine and the stuff with Frederick Douglass and slavery and the sentiments, the ideas that they were talking about both in the 1770s and the 1850s were the exact same things that we are talking about now, just applied to a different situation, like addressing the lack of humanity when it comes to religious organizations or even just the general public. But one of the things that I do see, what we were talking about, is the evolution. But now we're seeing this actually be reflected in the American populace and the voter bases.
Yeah.
Because somebody who being funded by AIPAC is automatically a no-go for more Americans than I think we could have ever fathomed 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
The shift since Trump was elected, like the whole Harris-Trump election, since that, the amount of, to your point, the way that the entire country, no matter your political whatever, has shifted on that idea and then is questioning where this money is coming from is, I mean, it's faster than I would have ever thought it was going to happen. Let's be real. Like, granted, they've slaughtered an entire people in the process. So like, maybe that's sped it up a little bit, but yeah, it is, I mean, to your point, there are these prerequisites where like you see now candidates being asked, are you taking AIPAC money? Because that's a deal breaker for a lot of people.
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny. So there is someone on the internet who has a formula that gives politicians ratings based on who they take money from and all kinds of, like, there's a bunch of different factors. But Cory Booker had gotten an A while back. But now his score has gone down because it turns out he's been taking money from AIPAC. So,
well, and here's recently, the thing. AIPAC money is rampant in politics on all the sides. Like there's very few at this point, like especially top officials, like people in Congress and like different things that aren't taking it or haven't taken it, I should say. I think that there's a shift now of like people choosing to be more careful about where they're taking it from. But here's the thing for me is I don't want my candidates to be taking money from AIPAC. However, I understand the world that we live in and it's not going to change overnight. And so like there is a piece where I'm still like, well, it's a lesser of two evils sort of conversation at that point of, so what, I'm going to let
this crazy evangelical conservative Christian who's trying to take everybody's rights away
therapy win, or women have no rights,
or do I take the AIPAC person? Fuck.
Right. Who's got like half a brain and has taken some bad money. You know, we've got to figure that out, obviously. But like, I'm not also the person that's here that's like, I'll never vote for someone who's taken AIPAC money. Like, yes, that is something that is important, but I'm also not going to like shoot myself in the foot to like.
You're smart enough to be able to take in all of the factors in making a decision. And I think that so many people right now have been, at the very least, up until I think recent time, so focused on purity when it comes to winning elections.
Politics is just absolute nonsense to me. In a two-party system, in the world that we live in this country, you cannot be as black and white as you want to be. And that's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't want that. We should change it. Great. But I'm not going to sit there and let a Republican win, a MAGA Republican win a seat in anything just because a Democrat took AIPAC money when also the Republican did. So like, what are we doing at that point?
Yeah. I think that there's a strategic approach, but what I also am witnessing, which I think all of us are, is where the shift is happening. And this is why I think that this isn't going to just be a fleeting thing, and this is going to be a systemic overhaul of how we pick the people we put in power. And going a little bit back to the astrology that I've talked about from both the 1770s and the 1850s, right now we're in the middle of those returns. And those returns, those things, our country, that shit started in New York City.
Right.
Those battles, they were traveling between New York and Philadelphia, just across the fucking way from each other. And that's where we're seeing these shifts happen now. We're watching Mamdani not just come into a position that is, for a democratic socialist in this day and age, very aspirational, but also they're calling him a kingmaker for what happened during the primaries in New York.
Yeah.
These democratic socialists could be winning congressional seats.
Well, and look at another one who kind of paved a little bit of the way for him is AOC of like, and she also came from New York. Like, these are places
She came from New York too.
Exactly. Where, like, granted, there's a lot of people and big cities tend to be more liberal, but like, even still, there's this, to your point, these are epicenters of change. And like, it's interesting to see how it's all playing out. And like, I think that I feel more hopeful today than I did 6 months ago about this country. Like, if I'm being honest, like, because of the Mamdanis, because of what's gone on in LA and California and these different things of like, we haven't lost the plot fully yet. And it does sometimes feel like we did. And I felt like when Trump got reelected, I was like, this country is fucked. Like, they've lost the plot. Like, we don't know a damn, like, the fact that we had these two people and everyone said, no, him, like, aside from like, you know, the logistics and legality of like, was it fair and what actually happened? Let's not go down that again. But the country still has a soul. And I think that it's an interesting time. Well, you've talked about the astrology aspect that makes it really interesting, but it's also just like the 250th is typically where, if you look in history, great empires either crumble or continue. That's where we're at right now, right? Like, we're at the place where, and we joke and I love the Belgians like winning the like, I love these like little losses that America, like, just because we don't deserve it. First of all, we're the only country that says soccer. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting time. Now I guess we're going to talk about it. But well, did you see, this is where like things get a little interesting, and it's why like I've been like, I don't really want to talk about it, but like, there was a guy invited who he runs an ICE detention center.
I did hear about that. People are mad.
However, it just so happens that he is Travis Kelce's best friend growing up, was adopted by this man and his wife when he was 14 years old, because he was in and out of foster care. Travis Kelce and his family knew him when he was going through all that. He gets adopted by this family who now, years later, this guy's running this, whatever. So he's invited naturally just because like, it's like your best friend's parents.
I don't know, man.
Thing.
I still feel like there's I can't imagine what white people go through to like
don't think too hard
like,
about it.
Those are the kinds of things that like it clearly wasn't enough to deter anybody from, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm kind of at with like rich white people like don't care.
Well, here's my thing is that yes, 1000%. I also think, to your point, there's a lot of people there that like, then we can also hold the onus of like, well, why are you at an event where this person's at? If it's so bad, why is everyone showing up? Like, is it that bad, or is it like, and I'm not saying it's not that bad. Like, believe me, you know how I feel about ICE. Like, I'm not like sitting here like defending any of that, but I'm also like, I don't know if I'm getting married and my best friend, my fiance's best friend has a parent that's a crap person. Do I just say no? Like, I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
So I raise you well, then where the fuck was Blake? Because
well, I think she probably was there, but I think she had to be snuck in
yeah,
like,
but was she there? Was she there because people were able to find out that this fucking guy who owns ICE detention centers went? And people have not been able to confirm that she went. But here's the thing. It's like if Taylor Swift has enough foresight for her PR to not invite her very controversial best fucking friend.
But I don't know if they're best friends anymore. That's the thing, is that
yeah,
I
but
think
okay,
that some of this where she threw her under the bus and she was like, well, fuck you. I'm over it.
Right, but here's the other thing. I could understand Travis Kelce inviting his best friend. but he did not have to invite his father.
Yeah,
For the
no, I
optics
agree.
aspect
I
of it,
agree. The optics
considering
alone, but then
considering what Taylor probably did when it comes to Blake, I'm just so. But you know
I'm gonna
what?
go on
Again, they
record
probably
and
didn't
say
even think
Blake
about it.
Lively was there. Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds had to have
You
been there.
said I'm going on record. You're like these
Girl, the
betting apps
CEO
can
of
fucking quote
AMC
me.
was there. The CEO of AMC was at the event because they've had a partnership over her last like couple video things in AMC theaters and stuff. And he was live tweeting the whole time. And he's like, since I've known this beautiful woman since 2023, I was like, girl, I've known her longer than you. How dare you? And this man was invited. So I'm like, I gotta believe that Blake was there. I think she was probably like advised to shut the fuck up and just attend and not post an outfit, not do the things like some,
I'm just so
Selena
I'm
Gomez
just I
posted it.
will
Like,
I will reserve any assumptions until there's confirmation because I want her to not have been invited, but
but
primarily I said why? Primarily because of the conversation that it would open up around the hypocrisy that might be Taylor Swift. Again, I love the discourse because she causes a lot of discourse and it causes a lot of people to have to look at very specific aspects of, like I was saying briefly
Well,
before.
it activates people into thinking and weighing these things, right? Like she has
Yeah.
like the idea of celebrity is dying out, and so like I do think it's a great conversation starter. I love her. In my mind, she will never do anything wrong, so it's hard for me to sometimes engage in a healthy way, but I also understand as a person in the world and believing all the things I believe, yeah, like we should question her on these things. Like, I'm not giving her immunity. I just think we've got a terrible human being in the White House. Go after him. Why is everyone going after this girl? Like, release the Epstein files. Like, what are we
I
doing? Like,
think
what game are we playing?
I think we can walk and chew gum.
Well, no, we've learned that a lot of people in this country can't do both, though. That's the thing. You and I can, yeah. But like
Right.
we're walking and chewing gum and we're on our phones and we're
Right. Like we literally got done talking about how people can't even sit down and like look at themselves critically. God forbid look at
right.
somebody else with some nuance.
Well, that is exactly the point. Like to me, that's where like, yes, we can criticize. Do I believe she's out of touch? 1000%. I
Mhm.
think that no matter if you've been successful for that long, if you have that amount of money, you're gonna be a little bit about out of touch. Period. I think that if I was a billionaire tomorrow, I would be a little out of touch about some of the things we talk about as time went on because you just naturally, unfortunately, and you have to be actively engaged in staying in touch with some of that, right? Like,
And you know what? I think that's part of the problem though is that a lot of people look to celebrity to also gauge where they should be pulling their morality from.
totally.
And
She's an
it's
artist. Like, you don't have to, like, what? That's it.
yeah, she's a
You
person,
like
she's
the
an
art, take it or leave
individual.
it. She's
Yeah,
not
like we
out there
don't.
saying, "Oh, everyone
Oh,
should be like me. Everyone should think the way I
well,
do."
here's
Like,
the thing though,
no.
too, because you're saying about her being out of touch, it's like you can't adequately be able to pull morals from somebody who you are aware is actively incapable of seeing the world in the same way as you. Like it's so but people still try. They still try
Well,
to
here's
pull
the
their
thing. I
morals
will
from
say this,
somebody like
that
that.
there's a way. Here's what I think about it, and I saw it today, so that's why I think it's interesting. You know that famous like viral like meme of Hillary Clinton going into someone's house in like the Bronx in during her running in 2016, where she's looking in the kitchen and she's like just
No.
a deer in headlights. And it's that like here's someone again doing great things, working hard, supporting the right things, but still was like, people live this way. Ew. Like that's what I mean. Like
Right.
there's this element of you become out of touch the more you're separate from that. Like I know people who have been homeless or unhoused at different times in their life. I mean, girl, I got $7 in my bank account right now. So like it's like,
That
what
is
are we doing? Like, I'm not sitting
yeah,
here
same.
defending billionaires. Like, if I don't find but I can see the nuance of, okay, here's a billionaire. Yeah, this is out of touch, but they've also done some decently good stuff, like charity wise, donating, giving back, doing these things, like giving people that work with her a living wage, supporting them in those sorts of ways. Like, yeah, like not a perfect human being, but I also don't look to anyone like that. But religious people, circling back, look to idols to be something to model after. And that is the problem with celebrity culture, is that the minute that someone makes a mistake about something, oh my God, heaven forbid. Like, I did a whole video the other day after did you see what happened in Newport Beach during 4th of July and like the whole like nonsense of there was 400 plus arrests of teenagers that had organized a thing in Newport Beach. It was the whole thing, whatever. And I did a video. I was like, no, it's very like Newport. It's very like privileged children.
Yeah.
Well, then I did some research. Of the 400, like 326, I want to say, were people from Arizona and Utah. So like they came here. And so then I deleted my video and I corrected and I said, okay, I've learned my lesson. Like, I'm not going to assume, I'm not going to do these things, like, whatever. Anyway, the point being, I love Taylor Swift, so.
But
no, it's a complicated conversation, but I do appreciate the discourse around it because I do think it's interesting. Like,
and I think it's important too, because going back to some of the things we talked about before when we're talking about like Tom Steyer and like, you know, that was a conversation that we had to have, and we had to have it with some grace because, you know, we had our options laid in front of us, and, you know, one of the only ones that actually aligned with us was the fucking billionaire, and trying to grapple with that was interesting, and it was necessary because these are things that we are going to have to approach collectively as time goes on.
He literally said, I've done wrong. I got what is he supposed to do? Like dump his bank account in the ocean? Like what are we doing at that point? Like he was like, I did this wrong. I've seen the light. Now I'm trying to make it better. And I can do it because I'm a wealthy, powerful person.
Okay, I want to circle to something slightly different. Maybe we can wrap on this note.
Really quick though. One random question. Where's Jill Stein? Where's she at? Where's that bitch? She went into the ground. She's like the groundhog that only comes out during presidential election season. God damn. Anyway. God, she pisses me the fuck off.
I love that your insertion of Jill was exactly as random as her insertion into the fucking zeitgeist at any point. It's like, there she is again.
No, it could there must be an election like, did you coming see the up? BET Awards, and then it's like, has anyone heard from Jill Stein? Like, it could. It's just where does she fucking go during all the time? I looked at her Instagram a couple weeks ago. She doesn't even post that much anymore. She literally is like
silent. I know. I checked up on her thing maybe like 5 months ago. I was like, okay, nothing's changed. She's still in hiding. So something that Aristotle talks about is good, like and how good is obviously subjective, right? Because each individual views good as different.
Everyone's idea of good is different. Yeah.
Aristotle talks about skill building and the purpose of skill building. That in and of itself is the good. Your purpose for doing, whether it's for personal fulfillment, whether it's to achieve something, whether, you know, like you're putting your time towards something to develop it, that is what is considered good. And what he said was the greater good, doing that, but the purpose is for the community, doing it not for the individual.
Well, isn't that what
skill building?
The idea of being a politician really should be?
Yeah, and that's what Aristotle says. He says the science that studies the supreme good for man collectively is politics. The other thing he says about politics is ethics is a necessary precursor to politics. You cannot understand or engage in politics in any meaningful way without ethics.
Well,
he says also ethics. I know. Look at all the ancient teachings of these fucking people, socialist fucks.
Like wow. Like actually they were like, be a good person, you dumb bitch. Like it's like that's all it is. Like
the thing about ethics is that he talks about how it's vague, and this is literally the first page of this thing. He's like, fucking bear with me because it's going to get real cerebral, and this isn't mathematics. There's no direct path to understanding.
It's not logical as much. Like ethics to me is not, ethics should be logical, but it's not inherently logical, right? Like ethics is based on empathy and emotion and feeling. And so it's not based on, to your point, it's not a formula that you can be like, oh, well, here it is. Like, and I think that, not to like circle back to the billionaires, but I do think that that's the thing you see is that so many of them are like, well, actually, me being a billionaire mathematically makes sense because I'm giving jobs or I'm doing that. And it's like, no, actually, like you're really just you've lost all ethical, like you have no compass in your life. Like that's insane.
Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Like I think that's such a great point that you just made. I was
Wow,
thinking of it
thanks.
in a different way because I was thinking of it in the sense of um what we talked about last week or earlier this week, where discussing Christianity again, we touched on the idea that Christians think that without Christianity there was no morality, but it goes back to Aristotle, who was around long before Christianity was, and this is the type of
Mhm.
shit that he's saying.
The Christian ideology is not anything drastically new. There's nothing inherently different than any other philosopher beforehand or to your I mean to the point of this, Aristotle could be Jesus. Like you could model his thoughts and create a book and create a teachings and just go out and be like whatever the book you're reading right now, the code of ethics or whatever it is like it is a version of the Bible. Like it is just someone's thoughts and whatever happens to come from a real person and his own words, but I digress. So yeah, like it's like the idea of being a good human being, I don't need someone to tell me to do that. Right? Like I don't need a book to tell me to do it. I don't need, that's the wild mind fuck of religion in my mind is like, oh wait, you are someone who needs to be told I'm only gonna be good because someone else is saying to. What?
To do it. Yeah. And there is this
Tell me a
idea
red
within
flag for being a bad person. Like that's that.
well, there's this thing about how Christians view people who are, you know, not religious or of other religions, and it is very much like, oh, you heathens.
Right. You
Where is your
uncivilized
morality coming
trash.
from?
There's a famous clip from The Real Housewives of Orange County where one of the housewives who's younger, a millennial, was like, well, I'm an atheist. Like, I just, and then two of the women go, well, that means you have no moral compass. You don't know how to be a good person. And she's like, no, I'm a good person because that's what I want to be. Like, I'm a nice, loving person. I don't need someone to tell me. And it's wild because it was like, that's like 10 years ago at this point. And I'm like, it's the exact same thing still. Like, and at the time, the person that was like, I'm an atheist, like, I don't need someone to tell me, was like vilified online. Like, truly, because the audience is, they're not the brightest people. I lump myself in with that. But like, I'm not,
Like I'm
whatever.
there too, but
Yeah, I'm watching The Real Housewives, but like I'm not saying like everyone there is a philosopher. Let's be real. But but it was so I remember thinking like, oh, this is so interesting to watch someone blatantly use religion to say, if you don't label yourself this way, then I get to label you as a bad person. Like that's wild. Like it's insane. And you see it plays out nonstop, left and right. It's the only way I think the majority of the world honestly can sleep at night is because they said a prayer and they read a book and they know a verse or two and and that goes for every religion, truly. I don't like it's just a way to make yourself feel better about the world that we live in,
yeah,
honestly.
without
Right.
doing the work
It's
of
like without it's actually easier to just be like, no, I'm a good person because I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm like instead of actually having to like be accountable and like do the
yeah, and
things that would make you a good
show your
person.
work, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's very like
It's basically like Chat GPT, but for fucking
well, I was gonna say
for
it's giving
life.
multiple choice test. Like you don't have to show the work how we got here. You chose one and you're done.
Yeah.
So, oh my god, I love that we said we have nothing to talk about, and we didn't even talk about Mitch McConnell and
I know.
how
I'm kind of
he's
glad because I still
probably
want that
dead.
to.
I don't
I
care.
know,
Yeah,
and I don't want to talk about it yet because it feels kind of like it feels untimely because, like, whatever I feel about Mitch McConnell is irrelevant when, like, there's so much speculation. And don't get me wrong, because, like, but at the same time, like, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Well, it's like I don't want to see someone suffer or hear someone's in a bad place, like obviously.
Yeah.
However, play by the fucking rules of the game, which is say, hey, this guy is sick. He's in this politically.
Please, we need transparency.
I don't love I don't like the nonsense surrounding it. That's the part that makes me be like, well, just die already. Like, I'm over it because we need to move on with the world. If you were gonna do the polite, respectable thing of saying, hey, I'm in the hospital, I'm now incapacitated because I'm 137 years old, like, be done. Like, it's just like, go away. Like, go be old. Go be old and die with dignity elsewhere. Like, now, I'm pissed off.
Now we're all being dragged.
Pissed off at your wife. Like, she's like, I'm gonna escape to China because
that is okay. But the other thing about that was
I love how we're not gonna get into it, and then I'm like,
I know, but we go and do it. Okay, I saw a headline that was questioning whether or not she's like a spy working with like a spy. Yeah, so
Marjorie
I'm
Taylor
like,
Greene,
I can see it.
my girl, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Was she saying that too?
She said the same thing on The View today. She was like, I think she's a spy for China. And I was like,
whether she is or isn't. Okay, now I don't know if I want to.
Can we also talk about really quick that every time, first of all, I said she's my girl. Sarcasm.
You're like, no.
But also, she's getting better looking. Like, like, I'm telling you, the way that she's repented and she's like being a better person, like, her skin looks better. Like, I'm like, a gay finally did her hair, I think. Like, she's got
oh my god.
Like, no, she's actually like, she was like, wait, you guys, this is actually really amazing being over here on the
wonderful. We might make her a fucking Democrat yet. Honestly, so here's one more thing I wanted to talk about.
No, she's probably technically a Democrat now, but we've moved on. We're Democratic socialists at this point.
Exactly. We're already exactly what I was going to say.
We're still already not on the right
side. She didn't move. The Overton window did.
She was like, wait a minute.
Now you're a Democrat.
It's really nice over here.
It's nice over here. You guys have running water and air conditioning?
Oh my god. Someone give me natural highlights. This is wild.
Good haircuts and fucking glowing skin. My gosh.
Joy Behar is my best friend. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
this has been a good time.
I was going to say, final thoughts are things are bad, but they're looking up maybe a little. I don't know.
I think they are too. I think that birthright citizenship being held up was the turning point in our revolution.
It's not a final thought. That is an opening.
Oh,
thought.
Sorry. You're like, that's a whole episode.
You're like, you know what I want to say? My last thought is birthright citizenship is
right, but it being held up.
I get what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, I think was the greatest sign that we've turned that corner.
It's the foundation of the country being upheld. And like, let's be very real. The Constitution is the thing that keeps everything running the way that this country is intended to run. Yeah.
And on top of that,
Amy Coney Barrett, yes.
Oh my god.
You.
I know. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah. You know, I'm not mad at her, and I'm really glad that she did pull through again. She really did. She was again,
which I fucking hate, by the way.
I know.
Like,
I'm not a fan of it.
But you know what? I honestly, here's the thing. I respect her. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't respect Marjorie Taylor Greene. I respect Amy Coney Barrett a teensy bit because she has shown up in the way that she was supposed to show up, regardless of what she thinks and all the things like. She's done, especially when it came down to it, right? Like the important shit, she's been like, no, we literally can't say that. It's illegal, you guys. She was like, you guys, this is crazy.
But you know, I'm glad that
would I go to brunch with her? No.
I know. Right. But circling back quickly to that final note on birthright citizenship, I thought that it was super fitting, and the reason why I think that it was the turning point is because his that was the first big thing he did when he came into office.
And it
And
didn't hold up.
I think they're all out of ammo.
Turning Point USA. You said Turning Point. That's all I can think of now.
Let's get the fuck off this thing. Oh my god.
I know. It's like,
No.
also, where's Erica Kirk? There were so many fireworks and no one saw her. Fireworks are the thing that calls her out of the depths of hell. And during 4th of July, no one saw her. She was probably too conflicted. She's like, I don't know which fireworks show to go to. They're also not celebrating me.
Okay.
All right. Go smoke your joint. I'm going to get a glass of wine. This has been another episode of In Vino Veritas, and we are unhinged, but less unhinged than this country, let's be real. Okay. Bye.
Yeah.